Every evening, when the muezzin's calls tangled with the clatter of iron and steam, Kemal raced the setting sun across the tiled spine of Istanbul. A canvas satchel slapped against his ribs, and the wind scraped tears from his eyes. Below, the mortal city simmered. Coffee-scented alleys, plumes of coal smoke, and the occasional flicker of imprisoned flame where a djinn strained against its gilded cage. Above, a second city floated in perpetual motion. Rails of brass arched from minaret to minaret, and tramcars, sleek as sabres, skimmed the skyline, spurting blue-white fire from the sigil-stamped cylinders that held their enslaved spirits. Kemal loved the roofs. They were the only place he felt taller than his worries. 3 years had passed since Murad's elder brother, Rooftop instructor, half-parent vanished after a street protest. Mother said he was dead. Father said best to assume so and carry on. But Kemal kept searching each crowded platform, every tram stop, certain he would recognize Murad's lopsided grin even through coils of smoke. Tonight's commission was urgent. Deliver a lacquered reliquary box to a woman waiting on the Suleymaniye Day north parapet before the dervish clocks struck 9. The Guild of Runners paid double for speed, triple for silence. Kemal planned to earn both. He hurdled a pigeon's coop, scrambled up a copper gutter, and landed beside the Sikembalita station just as the last evening commuter tram hissed away. Its conductor, a bored janissary with a brass beard mask, slammed the gate in Kemal's face. "Passenger decks closed. Curfew soon. I travel atop." Kemal flashed his courier sigil. Roof riders were tolerated. Messages mattered more than most lives. With a grunt, the janissary yanked a lever and a ladder unfolded along the car's flank. Kemal clambered up, boots clinking on rungs. From the overhead railing, he surveyed the route. Rails leapt from dome to dome like molten thread. Beneath the driver's cabin, a bulbous crystal etched with Quranic verses imprisoned a pale djinn whose coiled body burned brighter whenever the throttle clicked. The spirit's face was neither human nor flame, but something sorrowfully in between. Lightning cracked under the wheels and the tram shot forward. Kemal crouched low, cloak whipping. He rehearsed the path. Disembark at Beyzurit, sprint the textile rooftops, scale the western wall of the mosque, hand over the box, return before the night patrols sealed the quarter. Everything proceeded to plan until a whistle echoed from behind a second tram. Lanterns extinguished, roaring along the same track at illegal speed. The public tram's conductor cursed and yanked a bell chain. Sparks sprayed. Kemal twisted around and, amid the blur, glimpsed the pursuer. Charcoal-back bodywork, prow painted with a single red tulip, and on the pilot-house roof, a captain clinging to the handrails like a shipmaster watching for rocks. A bronze mask concealed the man's face, but the posture, feet planted wide, shoulders loose, was heartbreakingly familiar. Perusal. "Murad?" The outlaw tram darted onto a maintenance siding, bypassing the public car with calamity narrow clearance. Turbulence whacked Kemal against a handrail. By the time he steadied himself, the renegade vehicle was a dwindling shadow. Yet the image of that stance branded Kemal's mind, and for one breathless moment, the hole in his life warmed. The conductor barked at him to hold tight or be sliced in half. Then city guards on gliders swooped past, chasing the outlaw. Searchlights combed the night. Kemal swallowed a tremor and forced himself to focus on the gilt package slung across his back. But anticipation fluttered in his chest. If the rebel captain truly was Murad, Kemal had to find him. Beyzurit platforms screeched below. Kemal vaulted the rail, rolled, and sprinted east across a lattice of drying linen. The moon was a hook of silver guiding him. When he reached the Suleymaniye parapet, the client, a veiled woman wearing a brooch of crossed fetters, awaited amid shadow. Wordlessly, she accepted the reliquary, pressed 3 gold lira into Kemal's palm, and disappeared down a stairwell. Transaction complete. Yet Kemal lingered. The outlaw tram's hum still throbbed in his ears. Louder than mosques, low lamps, or ships on the Golden Horn, he knelt, unstrapped his goggles and whispered into the wind, "Murad, if it's truly you, send me a sign." What arrived instead were janissaries. Steel-clad patrolmen dropped from tethered gliders, muskets raised. "Courier Kamal ibn Saleh?" their sergeant demanded. Ice pooled in Kamal's belly. "Yes, sir. You are hereby detained for questioning on suspected collusion with seditious Tram activity," the officer declared, slapping manacles around Kamal's wrists before he could protest. Another guard confiscated the empty satchel. They hauled him to the Ministry of Aerial Transportation, an octagonal tower that stabbed the night like a stiletto. Inside, interrogation chambers smelled of hot copper and fear. Bureaucrats in turquoise frock coats leafed through dossiers, while a dented phonograph recorded every sob, every rustle. Kamal refused to cry. Between questions, describe the rebel tram, identify its pilot, list all couriers who use the Bezutit line. He clung to one thought. Murad was alive, and that mattered more than the ministry's wrath. Hours later, when the bureaucrats grew bored, they chained him in a supply closet. Through a grimy slit window, he watched dawn ignite the Bosporus. Prayer calls rolled like distant thunder. Somewhere across those waters raced a tulip-nosed tram, mocking gravity, steered by a ghost returned to flesh. Kamal's heart ached with longing. The door creaked. A wiry boy no older than Kamal entered carrying a mop bucket. He whistled a street ballad about lost brothers, a tune Murad used to sing while teaching rooftop leaps. The boy's eyes flicked to the shackles. In his hand glinted a skeleton key. "Message from the captain," he murmured. Click, click. The cuffs fell. "Is it him?" Kamal whispered. "Come see." The janitor jammed a broom under the latch, jamming the door. "Name's Layla, by the way." She winked. Only then did Kamal realize she was a girl disguised. They darted down service corridors, avoiding clerks. In the boiler yard, a battered maintenance tram awaited, twin cylinders faintly aglow. Layla hurled Kemal onto its running board, leapt after him, and released the brake. Steam geysered, metal shrieked, guards shouted as the car lurched up a corkscrew track that spiraled around the tower and hurled itself onto the main aerial rails. Wind screamed. Layla tossed Kemal an oilskin coat. "Captain says, welcome home." She steered the maintenance. They arrived at a depot hidden beneath collapsed tiles of an abandoned madrasa. Outlaw mechanics scurried, welding, running hoses of holy water into cracked gin chambers to soothe the spirit's burn wounds. In the center of the yard rested the tulip-nosed tram, prow, scorched, but proud. Its captain emerged, tall, limber, face half-shadowed by a bronze mask shaped like a falcon. Kemal's pulse pounded. The man unbuckled the mask. Murad. Hair longer, scar angled across his jaw, but unmistakable. Older brother, and once idol. For a fraction of forever they stared. Then Kemal punched Murad's shoulder hard before collapsing into his arms. Tears he'd denied the ministry burst now. Murad held him tight. "Yes. See Koto, little eagle? I'm here." Kemal's sobbed words tumbled. "They said you were dead. Why didn't you send word? How?" Later, Murad signaled Layla to watch the perimeter. "We can spare 5 minutes. Then we move." Inside the tram's cabin, lanterns glowed soft saffron. Gin-script coils lined the walls, but unlike government cars, the sigils here were altered. Gaps left so the spirits could flex more freely. Within the cylinder, a flicker of blue flame shaped itself into something like a head and bowed to Murad. "We treat them as allies," Murad explained. "They lend power willingly when given choice." Kemal touched the glass. Warmth pulsed, curious, gentle. "Why am I here?" he asked. "Because everything cracks tonight," Murad said. "The ministry plans to shatter the sacred seal at Galata Tower, forging a master tether that will bind every jinn in the empire to a single command rod." Kemal shivered. "Then the spirits will be slaves forever unless we steal the rod first and free them. We need couriers who know the routes. who can slip messages through checkpoints. And we need heart. You have always had heart. Kemal remembered Murad teaching him the Rooftop creed. Neither sky nor stone shall master me. He inhaled. What do you need? Murad unrolled a map etched across silk stolen from palace archives. Tram lines converged at Galata like veins to a heart. At sunset, the ministry will transport the rod from Topkapi to Galata inside an armoured tribute car. Our tulip tram will intercept, boarding mid-route. But before we strike, we must blind the watchtowers. That's your job. He tapped 3 stations where signal beacons rose on iron stems. You and Layla will plant candle bombs here, here, and here, timed with the call to prayer. Kemal studied the distances. Possible if wind favoured. What about reinforcements? The Janissary Air Wing, grounded by a dock workers' strike we organised yesterday. Kemal managed a shaky grin. You always were 5 moves ahead, Agabi. Then you'll do it? He nodded. For the Jinn. And for you. Murad's shoulders relaxed. Good. He clasped Kemal's forearm. Whatever happens, remember, freedom is not a destination but a direction. Face that way and run. The day crawled with preparation. Layla outfitted Kemal with a bandolier of fist-sized glass orbs, each swirling with phosphorescent wax. Light the fuse, set it down, and leave fast, she instructed. Harmless to people, but the flash blinds lenses for an hour. She adjusted her janitor cap. If a guard grabs you, cry about overdue library books. Kemal laughed, nerves sparking. By late afternoon, storm clouds laid bruises across the Bosporus. Perfect cover. Kemal and Layla mounted a compact courier tram. No cabin, just a plank, a throttle, and a rope harness looping around their waists. A small, silver-haired djinn named Zara powered the cylinder. She offered them warm gusts of encouragement. They launched. Istanbul blurred beneath. Spice markets, Sema halls, imperial gardens, fleeting fragments. The first beacon tower perched atop the Grand Bazaar's highest cupola. Guards lounged, bored. Layla swooped low, tossed a string firecracker as distraction while Kemal dashed up the ladder. He wedged a candle bomb between copper pipes, yanked the fuse, tumbled back onto the tram. 10 seconds later, a lotus blue flash bloomed. The beacon darkened, and guards cursed in confusion. 2 more towers fell to darkness. On the last, a sentry spotted Kemal's retreating silhouette and fired a musket. Lead whined past his ear. Zara, outraged, belched a plume of searing wind that knocked the guard flat without killing him. Kemal patted the cylinder in thanks. Finally, they coasted onto the roof of the Korlulu caravanserai, vantage overlooking the artery line into Galata. Dusk draped the horizon. Minarets flared gold, then purple. From afar, a siren keened, the tribute convoy departing top-capitally. Layla raised a spyglass. 2 escort trams, each with double Janissary turrets, she reported. Centre-car emerald green must be the rod. Through grey air whistled the tulip-nosed tram, running parallel on a maintenance track. Murad stood astride the roof, cloak billowing, sword of lightning in hand, actually a conductor's staff crackling with stored charge. Kemal's mouth went dry. Time? He and Layla scrambled aboard a cargo hook suspended above the main rail. When the tribute convoy thundered beneath, they dropped, landing on its rear car with bone-jarring impact. Layla unspooled a rope ladder for Murad's team. Janissary gunners swiveled, but the candle bombs had blinded their optic sights. Shots went wide, ricocheting off domes. Murad vaulted aboard, followers at his heels. Blades clanged, smoke hissed. The air smelled of ozone and fear. Kemal ducked low, heart hammering. Murad's staff cracked open the turret door, and Layla disarmed the dazed crew. "Forward!" Murad shouted. They advanced across coupling plates toward the emerald coach. From its vents leaked pulses of crimson light. Within, the Master Rod's jewel, the heart of Suleiman, throbbed like a stolen star. Suddenly the convoy jolted. A colossal searchlight blazed from Galata Tower, one beacon the candle bombs had missed. Kemal squinted through glare. A minister of transport, draped in peacock feathers and arrogance, stood on a balcony, holding a rune-inscribed talisman. He shouted a command. Invisible shackles tightened around every gin cylinder on every tram, rebel and convoy alike. Zara shrieked in Kemal's mind, agony bright as molten glass. The outlaw tram stuttered, flames sputtered, government engines surged, fed by the forced obedience. Murad staggered, but kept balance. He pivoted, eyes locking on Kemal. Between them passed unspoken calculation, the way siblings share secrets across crowded rooms. Kemal sprinted toward the tribute coach's cylinder, where a massive Marid writhed under compulsion. He pressed his forehead against the glass. "Can you hear me?" "Yes," boomed a voice inside his skull. Deep as earthquakes, weary as centuries. "I can break your cage," Kemal whispered, "but I need a spark." He still carried his last candle bomb. Improvised laid plans often ruin, Murad always warned. But improvise again, Kemal thought. He wedged the bomb under the cylinder's retaining clamps, lit the fuse with a match struck against his teeth. Then he smashed the brass gauge with his courier knife, cracking the sigil's seals. Steam vented. "Raise," he told the Marid. Light exploded. The bomb's flare severed the shackles of rune script for one precious instant. The Marid seized the gap, flexed its cosmic will, and the glass shattered outward in fireworks of diamond fragments. A cyclone of sapphire flame surged, ripping roof panels like paper. Freed, the Marid channeled across the rails, rupturing every tether along the convoy and beyond. Each djinn tasted liberty, passed it down the line like electric contagion. Guns melted, Janissaries fled, many dropping their masks to pray. Murad whooped, pure childhood joy. Layla laughed, hair crackling. Kemal's ears rang, but he was alive! 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 Galata Tower's great lens burst under an inward implosion, snuffing the blinding spotlight. Ministers scattered as flagstones deformed into glowing glass pools. In the sky, djinn coalesced, phoenix shapes of colour and wind, yet none attacked. They merely hovered, savouring emancipation. The trams, deprived of assigned spirits, coasted to halts. Marid signalled his crew to leap toward a maintenance scaffold. Kemal followed, legs jelly. Embers drifted like lazy snow. On a ledge overlooking the Golden Horn, they regrouped. The city beneath looked unchanged. Same tangled roofs, same shimmering water. But Kemal felt its heartbeat accelerate. Newborn. In distant quarters, whistles and shouts told of factories shutting, slaves of brass and smoke walking free. Murad clapped a hand on Kemal's shoulder. "You did the impossible." "We did," Kemal replied. Layla joined them, cheeks smudged, eyes fierce. "Now comes the hard part, building a world these djinn want to share." Murad chuckled. "We'll start with a council. Humans, spirits, everyone." Kemal gazed at the liberated sky. Djinn constellations wheeled, painting auroras over minarets. "Mother will be furious when she hears," he said, half teasing. Murat's smile softened. "She'll forgive once she learns her sons stand together." They sat, legs dangling over the edge, watching dawn sneak in. Light brushed the ruins of the tower, the crippled rails, the open sea beyond the strait, the direction of freedom. Somewhere deep within the wind, Zira sang. Kemal inhaled salt air, tasted promise. The courier's creed rang truer than ever. "Neither sky nor stone shall master me." He nudged Murad. "Race you to the Blue Musk Ridge?" Murad raised an eyebrow. "You know I've never let you win." "Then tonight will be historic for two reasons." The brothers stood, balanced on cracked tiles. Behind them, djinn flames licked morning clouds. Ahead stretched a city reimagining itself with every heartbeat. Kemal fixed his eyes on the horizon and ran.